Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, tonight, we're going to talk about some information that came out of California, some statistics. And this data is very important, but for some reason, I've only seen it buried at the bottom of articles. I'm not sure people understand how much information can be extrapolated from this one little figure. It's something we've talked about on this channel before in relation to what could happen if the government banned certain types of items. People would build them at home. And I talked about the fact that it's very easy. And people ask, well, is this a skill set that only blue-collar people have? Is this a skill set that's only in the rural areas? Would criminals go to these lengths to do this? And I'm over here like, I have no idea. I don't know. But now we do. Now we do, because the information is out. The ATF is telling us that 30% of the firearms they are pulling out of California now are homemade. That is a huge number. It's a huge number, and it tells us a whole lot about whether or not that's going to be something that is widely done. First, will it be done to get around gun bans? Apparently, because California doesn't have an outright gun ban. They have a lot of restrictions. It's heavily restricted. But there's still a wide variety of firearms that can be purchased legally. It will be used to get around that, because it is being used to get around that. Then it's easy. It's easy. It's a skill set that has either been developed or existed. We know that it's easy because Arizona and Nevada, two nearby states, have very lax gun laws. I think in 2020, Nevada will start doing background checks on private sales, but as it stands, they don't. What this tells us is that it's easier to manufacture them at home than it is to drive a couple hours and lie about where you live. That tells us a lot. And it tells us that this is something that has to be taken into consideration anytime legislation is proposed. The types that are being made range from semi-automatic pistols to AKs. There does not seem to be a limit on what can be manufactured at home. When I discussed this with somebody earlier, they're like, well, can't we just ban the parts? No, not really. The skill set is now there. They understand, they will completely grasp that most of this is available at Home Depot. This is not, you don't have to use the finished parts, which a lot of these, a lot of the ones in California did. There really looks like they're manufacturing one piece, the receiver. It looks like they're making that at home and buying everything else on the market. The thing is, the receiver is one of the more complicated pieces. That's the piece that is actually considered the gun. If they can manufacture that, if they can complete that from a template, whatever, they can do the rest of it. So all of these parts are available at your hardware store. It's just metal. So this shows us again that we have to address root causes. Anything else is not going to work. People in the United States have way too much of a desire to own a firearm. It's tied to the DNA of the country. It's going to have to be removed here, up in somebody's head, before you ever going to be able to get it out of people's hands. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good night.